Hello everybody, this is Kiereek here, and today we're back with another review and release. This time it's a review for Red Faction Armageddon. Now what is it? It is a linear third-person shooter. You follow the latest exploits of the Mason family. Mason family are generally involved with Red Faction games on Mars here, and you fight evil aliens to save Mars. You do also fight humans, cultists, other things as well, but the aliens are definitely the main foe. Now, the big selling factor of this game is the destructible environments. All the buildings you see, you can bring them down to a degree. It's pretty brutal, pretty fun once you get into it. Now, the pros of the game: destruction. I just said it, it's fun. You have a magnet gun. The magnet gun, you attach one projectile on one thing, another on the other, and when you attach the second projectile, it flies towards the first. As you can imagine, the power behind that is quite immense. So if you take a boulder and you attach it to a giant building you want destroyed, that boulder will fly into that building, knocking it all out. The walls fall apart. If the structure is not completely destroyed but still unstable, the physics engine will take care of the rest. It will bring it down, and that is really the selling point. Red Faction games have always been good for that. It's a pretty sweet feature, and I definitely get my kick out of it. Now, there are good powers and a good skill tree in it. Some of the powers include impact. It's like a force wave, pushes enemies back, blows apart buildings. Another one is a shock wave, blows things up, traps enemies in a little thing around you. Another one is a shield. I like the shield because it reflects things back at the enemies. Enemies come inside, it hurts them, and it stops all projectiles coming at you. Very good to save your life. Now, the skill tree has different things to improve those skills, to improve your shooting skills, your demolition skills, your health, your speed, things like that, and they're all pretty welcome. Now, it's not too long, but it's also not too short. It's a good length for a game, in my opinion, so I was able to play through it pretty quickly, because I did power through it to a fair bit, but it is not the smallest game, you know what I mean? There are a lot of games that are a lot shorter. On the other hand, there are a lot of games that are a lot longer. I'm at the point in my life, I think it's great that I can finish the game in a couple weeks, as opposed to months, right? I don't have the time to play every day, and I can't play for very long when I get a chance, so to me it's perfect. It really hit the sweet spot on length. Now, finally, the other modes are very welcome. There's an infestation mode where you fight off hordes of aliens. There's a ruin mode where you fight for a score. You destroy buildings, get a high score. There's DLC. There's a Path of War DLC. And there's also New Game Plus. When you finish the base game, you can continue with your current weapons and all your stats and everything else into the new game and replay it again, which is pretty sweet. Now, the cons. Here's the big one. The game is bugged. Outright bugged. If you want to start playing, you need to actually start with, find a save file that's out there of someone who saved at the first point. It still includes the initial cutscene. You don't miss anything. But the kicker here is if you try to push new game on the main menu, it will freeze and lock up. It happened for me. It seems to be happening for a lot of people online, and from what I gather, the last update basically broke it, and they're not bothering to fix it, which kind of renders it a dead game. So hopefully, if you need a save file, I don't even know if I still have it, but it's out there. It's on a Steam community chat. Someone has provided it. Thank God to them. It let me play the game. Now, because I can't click new game, and that save file was only for the main game, it was not for the DLC, I still haven't been able to play Path of War, and I really wanted to, but every time I click new game, it will freeze and crash on me, so no good there. There's not much variation in enemies. You do fight a lot of the aliens, but they come in the same varieties. You get the small ones, you get the ones that are a little bigger, you get the ones who shoot things, you get the tanky ones, and you get the really, really tanky ones. There you go, that's all the enemies. There's some worms, I guess, too, but whatever, those are barely enemies. You do fight some humans, but most of it's against aliens, and I would have liked to see a lot more creativity with those aliens. Now, the acting, you know, it's not a AAA game. It's super cheesy. It always has been in Red Faction, you know what I mean? They're not really good at pulling the emotional heartstrings, but they do their best, and I'd say, you know, just kind of go along with it. It's like a campy 80s sci-fi show, and sometimes that's good, sometimes not so good. I think in this case, a little more satire, a little more lightheartedness would have been appreciated. That means for the score, gameplay, I really enjoy the gameplay. I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 3. I think the destruction element is perfect. They got that nailed down. Shooting is fine. It's, you know, it doesn't have to be super accurate. It's not a first-person shooter. It does the job. The weapons are great. The only thing I think is a little rough is the evasion, jumping left and right, and you use the space bar to jump. You hold one direction, he should roll that way. I found that really difficult to manage, so I didn't use it that often. Honestly, you don't need it. The addiction, I give it a 1 out of 2. It did keep me addicted. I kept coming back, and I think a big part of that was really that I can leave at any time. It will autosave checkpoints frequently. So there was nothing to keep me from dropping it for 5 minutes while I make dinner, coming back and playing a bit later, right? I could continuously come back and pick up where I left off, and that really helps the addiction, even if the story isn't that addicting. Now the reliability, because of that stupid new game bug, I had to give it a 0.5 out of 1. Once it's running, it's all good. I had no problems. But getting it started with a new game is so brutal, it loses half of the score right there. For the atmosphere, I gave it a 1.5 out of 2. It was a very nice atmosphere. You know, it's all Mars, is what you kind of expect. You do a lot of in-tunnel stuff. You do a little bit of surface world stuff. What I would have liked to have seen is a little more variation with it. Like, they did it well, but the variation wasn't there. If I think back to Red Faction Guerrilla, you had an open world you could traverse. It was very real. There were people walking around and a lot more stuff going on. Compared to this one, I really appreciate the open world more. I think it helps build the atmosphere. This linear world isn't too bad, but I want more variation. The replay value, I think it has some. It does give you the new game plus. It does give you an incentive to replay, you know, to get the achievements, to buy all the upgrades, you know, all that extra stuff. Gives you a fun little weapon. I won't spoil it, but it's a pretty hilarious little thing. And, you know, it's not a bad game. It's not too long, so replaying it is possible. That being said, if you're only replaying it for a bonus to the story or a secret ending or something, it's not there. So I'll give it a 1 out of 2. There's some replay value. That means our total score is a 6.5 out of 10. It is a game I recommend if you can get cheap. If you're a fan of the Red Faction series, I think it's definitely worth it. I think Guerrilla was better, but this one I still enjoy more than a lot of the old ones. So pick it up, give it a shot. I got a gameplay portion for it as well, so check that out. I got lots of other videos, so check them out. Most of all, stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you guys again soon.